Is somebody in here? Let me know if somebody's in here and I'll start talking. I'll start chatting. Hey Barb, how you doing? I'm headed from Homerville to Blackshear, headed home. How was the snow in your area? Hey Arlene. I just decided I'd do a live to go home. Even though the snow's about melted on the highway, we still have a bad ice problem. Hey Scotty, how you doing? It's been a while. I was just telling Barb and Arlene that for us to have snow in South Georgia is very unusual. And we had 3 inches of snow. Hey, let's have a cup of coffee. Mine just went blank on what's your name. Clyde, that's it. I was just telling them I'm on my way home from work. I went to work yesterday morning at 6 o'clock and just got off at 4:30. So my 61-year-old behind's dragging. I did get about 8 hours sleep. But Barb, how was the snow at your place? Showing some of y'all that it does snow in South Georgia every 15 years or so, and we had our round of 3 inches last night, and that is tough for us. And I think we are due for 18 degrees tonight. So any moisture is going to be frozen again. There's actually more snow in the median over on that side than there is on this side here. Hello there, Sanan Ari. I am headed home. I live in South Georgia, and we only get snow every 15 years, and we had 3 inches last night. Yeah, that's the way it is with us, Barb. It's everything. See this yard over here? This is slap covered in snow. I got to give the Georgia Department of Transportation credit for the work they have done to get our highways clear. And for those of you that don't know, I work for a small rural hospital, and staffing is important to us. And when we can't get staff to work, it's critical for us. We spent a lot of time preparing staff. We actually doubled our staff yesterday, so the daytime staff for today actually spent the night at the hospital last night, and they will actually spend the night again tonight. So the nighttime shift will come in, and the daytime shift will sleep in sleep areas we prepped. And they like that because they get paid 24 hours pay, and it gets to be hazard pay. So they like that. I don't get hazard pay. They say I'm high enough up on the payroll. That's what I get the big bucks for. Yeah, you can see that snow still there on the side there. Wherever there's shade, it is not melting. I'll shine it out this window. You can see that yard there. It's all still covered in snow. It is pretty. Where the snow hasn't melted yet, it is beautiful. As you can see, this is a 4-lane highway right here, and I'm only traveling on 1 lane of the 2-lane. Y'all probably can't tell the depth perception. You may can, but it's still 3 inches deep on them shoulders. this is why we all drive four-wheel drives in South Georgia. If you're in a little midget, in a little itty bitty car, you're just SOL. Hey Louie, how's the... Alright, I gotta slow down a little bit here because it is slick. No, Barb, I moved to Georgia January 1 of 1974. Yeah, Louie, we're doing okay here. We only had 3 inches of snow. How much did you have in Texas? I actually thought there'd be more snow on the ground. That's why I went live. But they say downtown Waycross is a mess, or was a mess. I still got about 15 minutes before I get, or 10 minutes before I get to downtown Waycross. Yeah, Louie, my wife is wanting a 100-foot long hoop house, and we just had too many windstorms to build a hoop house. I want a full-fledged greenhouse with plastic panels and bolted to a metal frame. I'm just not into changing plastic every year. Even if you get ultraviolet rated plastic, our wind is terrible. Yeah, Scotty, you're right. It'll be another 15 years, but I promise you I will be retired in 15 years. I'll be able to stay home, sleep late, and stay in the house. My boss today, she and I's worked together in 4 different hospital systems for 20 years, and she's like, we got a great relationship. We need to do another 10. And I'm like, no ma'am. I'm 61. When I turn 65, I'm going to 4 days a week. When I'm 67, I'm done. Thank you, Barb. I appreciate that. Louie, I can't wait to see your build. And just because I say I don't want a hoop house don't mean my wife won't get a hoop house. Usually what she wants, she gets. I live under those rules. What's hers is hers, and what's mine is hers. You're right about that, Louie. If you watch my video from last Monday, I bought me a little International tractor and borrowed a set of hares, and I was like a kid in a candy store. I retired from public life, but my private life, I plan to try to go as self-sufficient as I can. We have made sure we got enough venison this year. Got a hog coming tomorrow, I think. Trying to get away from this store-bought food. At least the store-bought meat for now. And for some of y'all, I haven't been active on YouTube for the last couple of weeks because I'm really just at the point that real life at work is taking away a lot of my focus. I didn't do my Wednesday in the Word this morning, and didn't do my Wednesday in the Word last week. I did do my Farm Truck Friday because it's just hard to miss prayer time with y'all. That prayer time is something near and dear to my heart, and I just can't give that up. Hey Nick, how you doing? I know you're probably laughing at me right now looking at 3 inches of snow compared to what you have. So how many inches of snow y'all got in Canada? Hey Kathleen, how much snow you got in Alabama? Because I saw on Facebook yesterday where Alabama was being hammered yesterday. Yeah, Nick, my youngest is in the Army up in Fort Drum, which is on the Canadian border. And I think he's at 4, 5, 6 foot, but it was his wind chill was 15 below the other night when he called. Kathleen, what you mean? You ain't got no snow? Hey, Avid. All right, I know I've missed a few folks because I'm holding my phone while I'm driving, which is illegal. So if I see a popo, I'll have to put you down on the seat. Louis, I know the snow would be hard for y'all. You're like us, but maybe it would have brought you some moisture. I watched Scott from Heritage Farms, Texas, and I know he's hoping he can get his ponds filled back up. See, there's yard there all covered in snow. So on grass, it is not melting, but it's melting on the highways. Well, it's melting on the traffic patterns because the DOT's been out hot and heavy all day long. This is a U.S. highway, so it's heavily traveled. Yeah, I feel bad for Scott, Louis. I just cringe when I watch his water table. Now, we're close to the Okefenokee Swamp, so we have a high water table. Yeah, Nick, the snow's going to go away, but we're still for freezing temperatures and some on and off rains. I'm more worried about the ice because we're not used to it. And from my house to where I work, I probably crossed 15 bridges. And that transition from black asphalt to concrete is tough. So you can see here, they have not done a good job of keeping both lanes open. So, but this one lane's in good shape. But I actually left work early today. Normally I don't leave till 5, so I'm ahead of the traffic some. I don't know if y'all can see in that median, so that median still got snow piled in it. Got a trivia question. Does anybody know why Waycross, Georgia is called Waycross, Georgia? There's two theories on that. Probably none of you do, so I'll go ahead and give you both theories. So it's Waycross, W-A-Y-C-R-O-S-S, and one of the sayings is you can only get to heaven by the way of the cross, so you have to go through Waycross, Georgia to get to heaven. That's what the locals say. The real thing is, in its heyday, Waycross had 12 train tracks coming out of it. So freight was moved in this country by the way of the cross. Now I think they only have 8 tracks coming in and out, because Waycross has the biggest CSX hump yard this side of Mississippi. I think there is 80 trains a day coming out of here. So everywhere you go, there's a railroad track. Yeah, Kathleen, I knew you'd know it was a railway hub. Yeah, see all this right here? None of that's melted. All right, I see somebody saying hello to Michael from Waters Family Homestead. Michael, how much snow you got? Ooh, that's really piled up in that median right there. I would have thought this road would have been cleaner than the one that I just come from. I just went from US 82, I went from US 84, now I'm on US 82. This road goes from Brunswick, Georgia to Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah, Kathleen, when the railroad came, it made a boom town for Waycross. You know, one time, Waycross was the 5th largest city in the state of Georgia because there was no interstate. US 1 was the main route from Miami all the way to Maine. So if you went north to south, you come through Waycross, Georgia. So that's why the railroad moved here. When Eisenhower put the interstates in, it killed Waycross, Georgia. It went from a 36,000 population down to a 16,000 population in the city. Now, I think Ware County still has 32,000. But the interstates basically killed the city of Waycross. Six inches to 11 inches. Yeah, see, Southwest got hit a little bit harder than we did. Because we wasn't supposed to get snow at all, and they changed their mind yesterday morning. That made it tough on us to try to recover staff with such a late notice, because you cannot count on the weather people to give you a right prognostication. The National Weather Service to give you one outlook, the Weather Channel will give you another outlook, then Jim Bob Weather app will give you another outlook, and it makes it tough. Yeah, Scotty, transportation hub is it. I can remember when Amtrak used to come through Waycross, and we actually had a Greyhound bus terminal and a Trailways bus terminal. And we had flights from Delta from here to Atlanta, so, but it really died in population. I thought I had a popo behind me, so I was trying to hide my phone, but it's not. You see all that snow over there on the side. I'm just jibber jabbering, so all y'all here, you can ride the jibber jabber with me, or if you got something else to do, I totally understand. Well, Scotty, even with Hurricane Helene, they had that thing so screwed up. You know, we just don't know where we're coming or going with these daggum weather people. Don't care whether they're male or female. They're all dumb as a box of rocks. They go to school for all them years and are wrong 75% of the time. Hey, Wild Edibles. I know you're laughing at my 3 inches of snow here compared to what you got too. Now everything has dried up. You can see Walmart is closed. I don't know if you can tell, I didn't get it over there quick enough. Again, that's the bad thing about a hospital. It's 24/7, 365. I don't have time to stop. I don't know who Ryan Hall is. Is that a YouTube channel, Michael? right, Louie, you take care. Appreciate you stopping in. Up here's our cemetery. Should have looked over there. Gas is down to $2.87 a gallon here. I don't know why it's come down all of a sudden the last 2 days. It's dropped from, I think, $2.92 to $2.87. Yeah, I was born and raised in Michigan via the U.S. Air Force, and I can remember having 6 foot of snow. Then we moved to California, and it was beautiful out there where we lived, in the San Joaquin Valley and the Ernest and Julio Gallo grape vineyards. Then we moved back to Georgia. It gets cool, you know. To us, 30 degrees is cold. And I only live 50 miles from the air miles from the ocean, so there's some days the wind you could just. Seems like you can feel the ocean breeze. It's almost like you can taste the salt. All right, Scotty, I'll have to go check him out. My only problem is, again, because the hospital is the government, we have to rely on the National Weather Service. So even though I can watch some of the other ones, a lot of our decision making is based off the National Weather Service, which is a joke. There's days I get to be that with you, Barb. I can stand about 50, and after that I got to start putting some clothes on. And I will say the last time we visited Andrew in New York, if you could get out of the wind, I was fine in a long sleeve t-shirt. But if I got in the wind, man, I'd freeze to death. Winter grass is growing up through that snow out there. I would have thought, well, they moved. I would have thought the telephone poles out there would have been covered in snow. That I showed you about them telephone poles. They ship them things all over the world. My oldest son used to work for them, buying poles out in the woods. He's going to work for another company now, but they haul them things out of here on train. They put them in shipping containers and carry them to the ports in Savannah to haul overseas. The local trucking company here in town, they put them on flatbeds and haul telephone poles all the way to Canada. Yeah, I couldn't stand 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is temperature-wise, but it still sounds cold. My journey takes me from work to home, takes me 35-45 minutes. On a good day. I usually leave the house at 6 in the morning and get home at 6 at night. Get over here to all these houses and still see all snow in the yards. that pile of limbs there. They still Hurricane Helene cleaning up. The government has been slow about that. Barb, honestly, it's not. After about the first 2 weeks, I got so used to it. One, you know, I'm the happiest career-wise, except for when I rode the red fire truck. Other than that, I'm the happiest career-wise I have been in 40 years. So, and this gives me time to think about my day before I get there, and it gives me time to wind down before I get home. When I worked at the hospital in Waycross, I only lived 5 minutes away, and if I left aggravated, I got home aggravated. Hey Ray, we only ended up with 3 inches. 3 inches of snow and anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inches of ice underneath it. Because it rained first before it snowed, so it froze all the concrete and asphalt, then snowed on top of it. Oh, wild edibles, no, I couldn't handle 22 degrees. No. 22 degrees below. That's just way too cold. So I'm coming into Blackshear now, the town where I live. There's still a lot more snow still on the highway here. Nice pretty patch of snow up here on the left. And here on the right. My yard looked beautiful this morning. Jackie sent me some videos. I hope it's not melting. The dog though, she's had her a time in it. She said Scarlett has loved the snow. Hadn't bothered her a bit. Yeah, Kathleen, you know everybody here, you have to have a 4-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive vehicle because of the mud, so it comes in handy in the snow. Michael, I don't know what they put on our bridges. To me, it looked like small gravel pebbles. So I don't know what it was. I think in Valdosta they said they were putting sand on their bridges, which is what I assumed they would do here. But that's not what it looked like. Of course, and it's all gone now because I've crossed all the bridges and I didn't see any sand. So if it was a sand gravel mix, the sand's gone and the gravel's still there. See, mine didn't have a red color. It was sort of a silver black, and honestly it looked like a little bit of green, so I don't know what they had in there. Yeah, it's really snowed that way and that way right there. Tony, how you and Leanne doing? How's the weather in Nevada? You see it's cold here in South Georgia. It is. Actually, it's warmed up to 36 degrees. When I left Homerville, it was 28. So it's really warmed up over here. That might be why more of it is melted on the roads over here. Yeah, it's that church there with that big old yard of snow there. You know, this is redneck country, so we've seen people pulling other people behind four-wheelers, you know, on cardboard, sheet metal, and everything else to make sleds. You know, a redneck's gonna find some way to have fun. Actually, there was one guy, one of my maintenance guys was telling me somebody was in his yard with a set of snow skis, just scooter pooting around his yard on a set of skis. just a few more minutes to the house if y'all want to hang on just a few more minutes. Now, Pierce County has a claim to a Confederate prison camp. Well, it used to be right here, so obviously that metal building was just built. As you can see, there used to be a well, it was a Union prison camp with Confederate prisoners. But the University of Georgia has spent the last 10 years excavating that site. So hopefully they have all the Civil War artifacts out of it. But man, they've had uniform buttons, you know, musket balls, horseshoes, all sorts of stuff they excavated out of there. Now, I wish Louie was still here, Ray. I don't know if you are, but they was still baling hay back here 2 weeks ago. You can see some over there at the edge of that field. So I'm still on the state highway, so as you can see the ditches are still full of snow. So this property we're coming up on the right is where my wife Jackie was raised. She was born in Vidalia, Georgia, but moved here right after she was born. So this is her mama's field here. And her sister Becky lives in that house right there. And this is Jackie's mama, or who you may know as Blessed Nana. That's her field there. Your cousin Jim still farms that. There's Jackie's niece. Her family lived there. As a matter of fact, they're right here on the side by side. We are fixing to turn on our dirt road, so a quarter mile to go. Thank you, Tony. Hope you and Leanne are doing good too. Let's see. Bump, 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 bump. Turning on my dirt road. That's why you have to have the four-wheel drives. This clay right here is slick. It's got a hard bottom, but the top of it is slick. There's a branch line right there, and it looks like it's, well, let me get to this side. It's just partially frozen over. I'm sure you could probably go up there and thump it and break it. Snow here in this yard here. That's Jackie's cousin Dane lives in that house. Dane's mom and daddy live over here on this side. You can see all the, I don't know if you can tell, them pine trees all still bent from Helene. All that's going to have to be clear cut. There was an estimate that the timber loss in the state of Georgia was 4.6 billion. Billion with a B. Loss of timber. You see, these are pecan trees, and the pecan tree damage was, I want to say, not quite 5 million, because those losses are generational losses. We only lost 3 trees, but I'll never see a productive harvest from the 3 that we're going to replant with. Okay, so here is the start of our yard. So they must have already been here in the side-by-side today, driving across it. So I'll go out this window right here. Bunch of snow. And right now that is field, but we're hopefully fixing to see a sip of it in the next couple of weeks. You'll see all these 20, I think there's 23 pecan trees down the edge of the road here. Of course, Jackie is out here at the garden, so I'm just going to pull out there and tell her she's on candid camera. You're on candid camera if you want to tell everybody hello.
Hello?
How cold is it?
I don't know.
It's only 35. But you can see we've got strawberries, mustard, spinach, and onions. And I had that on my last video on how we covered all that up. So I'm at home. I know y'all got a lot of things to do. And you're right, Barbara. It is a good road for bogging. But I know y'all got things to do, so I'm going to let you go. Appreciate all y'all taking the ride with me. And y'all take care and God bless.